In this recipe, I'm going to show you an awesome dairy-free dessert, a coconut creme caramel. You're not going to want to miss this. Stick around. Alright, so let's get started. First, we're going to make the caramel cups. Now, to make those caramel cups, what you're going to do is get a small sauce pot, add half a cup of sugar. I add 1 tablespoon of corn syrup and 1 tablespoon of water. If you don't have corn syrup, I've done this recipe before with just sugar and water. It does work. The corn syrup makes it a little more liquidy and a little more caramely, and it turns out a little better with the corn syrup, but it is somewhat optional. So what we're going to do is add all of those ingredients to a pot and put that on the stove, and we're going to bring it up to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, turn the heat down to medium, and then just keep an eye on it. It's probably going to take about 5 minutes. Give it a little shaky shake, and you're going to want it to turn a nice dark mahogany color. So it's going to start to smoke a little bit once it gets close to being ready. Just like that, turn off the heat, and remember that it does carry over quite a bit. So if it starts off light, when you remove it from the heat, it's going to get darker and darker. So you're going to want to work quickly, and you're going to add an equal amount of caramel to your cups. I'm using 5-ounce ramekins. You can use larger or smaller. These are nice for individual portions. Once you pour the caramel in the ramekins, just give them a nice little twirl. Now onto the custard base. So you're going to want to add 3 whole eggs into a bowl, and you're going to want to add 1 egg yolk. And the reason why I love this recipe is because it's dairy-free, and you never see dairy-free desserts, and it doesn't compromise any flavor at all. So give your eggs a nice little whisk. You're going to whip them, and I'm using this Thai coconut milk that I bought at the store. This is a 14-ounce can. The recipe actually calls for 16 ounces. I did it with just the 1 can. It turned out great. And make sure that you add coconut milk that's full fat. Don't add half fat or low fat coconut milk. The fat is crucial in this recipe for sure. So you're going to add your coconut milk and your sugar into a pot, and you're going to bring it to a boil, and that helps the sugar dissolve, and that gives you a better texture. Once your coconut cream is boiled, cool it down a little bit, and then add it slowly to your eggs. You can also let it cool completely and add it to your eggs while it's cold. It doesn't really matter at this point. You don't need to cook the eggs or anything like that. You're not making like a coconut creme anglaise, which actually sounds great, but that's not what this is. So incorporate those 2 ingredients together. Then you're going to add a little vanilla extract. That was a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and give it a nice little strain. The strain is also going to improve the texture of the custard once it's cooked. And now you can store this for a week in the fridge, no problem. So there's our old friends, those beautiful caramel cups. We're just going to fill them up with custard. Fill it to the brim, one by one. And we're going to also need a baking sheet that has a tall edge, right? Because we're going to cook it in a water bath. So I'm using a sheet pan, which these custard cups are on, and I'm also using a separate baking dish. So there's my baking dish. I'm going to add my custard cups to the baking dish. I'm going to fill it halfway with water. Then I'm going to put that baking dish back on that sheet pan right there. And according to Thomas Keller, this helps it cook a little more evenly. And the enemy of this dish is uneven heat. You want the most even heat you can possibly get, which is why that water bath is really going to help. It doesn't allow those custards to overcook. And another important detail that I'm going to tell you that's crucial is cover it with plastic wrap. I do 3 sheets of plastic wrap, and that really helps steam it, right? Because you're just going to want to steam it. You don't want to cook it with high aggressive heat. You want gentle, slow heat. It takes about 35 to 45 minutes at a low temperature, like 300 degrees. I pulled these right out of the oven after about 45 minutes, and you're going to see they still have a little bit of a jiggle. That's exactly what I'm looking for. You don't want them super firm. The center still looks a little undercooked, but I don't want to overcook these babies because they're going to still cook in that water bath. So I let them sit in the water bath until they cool down, wrap them up, put them in the fridge overnight, and let them sit. Now the next day, I pulled this out of the fridge. I heated up some water. I put the custard cup in that hot water for about a minute, and that's just going to soften up that caramel on the bottom. And then you guys are about to witness some real magic. So use a thin-bladed knife, cut around the custard. This is going to take a little practice, but maybe you'll nail it the first time. And what we're going to do is flip that custard cup over on the plate. You can do this however you like. Just work quickly and carefully. And then you're going to use your thumbs to hold the top of the custard cup and your fingers the plate, and just kind of do that little motion right there. And it will detach, and you're going to see the caramel kind of oozing around. And you just lift up the cup, and you're all set. And there's your beautiful dairy-free dessert. And I've been working on this recipe for a while. I like having it in my back pocket. It is really hard to find a dairy-free dessert, especially if you're cooking kosher or if somebody has an allergy. It's really hard to find a good dessert, and this really is a good dessert. Even for people that eat dairy, it's delicious, let alone people that don't. So I hope you guys liked this recipe. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Comment if you have any questions. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Thank you for watching and have a great day.